Hello, and welcome back to the Balls Deep podcast. Y'all know that's what we really wanted to call it. I'm going to introduce us like our audience isn't made up of our diehard stands that has our social security numbers memorized. I'm Brandon Rogers.
I'm Gabe, and I'm just here for a good time, man.
And I'm Jonathan, the rational one that will desperately attempt to keep us on topic and airable. Our topic today is dogs, though I promise that drugs and existentialism will both be brought up at least once. But let's start off with dogs, shall we? So, does anyone want to start by telling a dog story? Well, I grew up in Livermore, and when I was a teenager, I was a straight-laced kid, and I hung out with a bad crowd. And we would just do a whole bunch of fucked up shit just for the hell of it, like breaking into abandoned buildings. What, have I told that story before? Anyway, there was this one time where we broke into this pet store and stole a bunch of chihuahuas. We just hung out with them for a few hours before the owners came out and held us at gunpoint. It was pretty great. Bro, have you ever vaped dog piss? It's just magical, man. Tried it with my friends in Vietnam when I was like 13 or 14. Gabe, you know our audience is like 6 years old. We can't be promoting that. Oh, but you know what I can promote? Homosexuality. Okay, back to the topic of dogs. I never had a dog because I grew up as a military brat, in case you didn't know. But I did have some dog stuffed animals. There's this one time when I was a kid, and I took a shit inside a stuffed animal. And how do you think that affects you today? It just reminds you of like how primal we are, man. Like how in touch we are with our inner spirits and makes you wonder what your real purpose is. That reminds me of this one time when, in case you didn't know, we used to work at this law firm. Hey, Jonathan, to relate to the topic of dogs. No, you cannot tell a joke about how the Asian employees ate dog. Come on, I was gonna do the accent and everything. Brandon, you were on thin fucking ice. Okay, well, let me just tell this super sexual story instead. Better. But yeah, I had a dog once. This is when I was in a village in Singapore when I was like 10 for a few years. But yeah, the dog and I. What do you guys think about pure breeding? I personally think it's an unethical practice. Yeah, isn't it like incest, man? Let me tell you about incest. I have a great story. That is all the time we have for today on the Balls Deep podcast. Maybe you'll hear about incest next time. I'm going to introduce the three of us again like you don't know who we are, and end on a really weird ending causing our listeners to have whiplash.